What up, y'all? Welcome back to Practice, where we fuse research and culture to help you develop the mindsets, habits, and skills that you need in order to live out your purpose with confidence. I'm your coach, Dr. Reese, and it's time for us to get better. Today, I'm going to convince you to live your confident life. That's my mission. I want you to adopt the mindset of figuring out, how do I live my confident life? Why? Because if you're going to be confident, then you have to be able to live your confident life. So here's how the confident life is broken down. It's broken down and diversified into 5 different areas. So what we're going to be talking about today is understanding diversification, allocation, balance, and percentages. Okay. So I know you're probably like, what the heck does it have to do with my life? Everything, because I want to reframe how you see balance, percentages, and teach you how you're able to live your confident life by reframing how you see balance and percentages. So let's think about it this way. When I say that our confident life is diversified into these 5 different areas, what I mean by diversified is divided. It's literally divided into these 5 different spaces, and it is work, rest, fun, exercise, serve. Now, if I was to ask you to write a list of all the things that you do with your life, you would probably write down, I go to work, I grocery shop, I do, right? You'd make a long list. I work out, I go to, if you got kids, I go to my kids' games. If you are on the PTA, you do that. Like whatever the case may be is, or I kick it, I have fun, I go out with my friends, I travel, all those different things. Everything that you do falls into these 5 categories: work, rest, fun, exercise, serve. Now, work isn't always just going to a job to make money. Sometimes work is work around the house. Sometimes work is going grocery shopping. Like those are still different things that go into work. So when we think about what we do, the first thing I need you to do is make a list. How are all the different ways you spend your time in a week? And if you're not sure how you spend your time, then that is going to be the first assignment that I need you to think about as you go into this next week of life. Start tracking, like, what do I do? If you don't use a calendar, you need to use a calendar. I don't care what calendar you use. I use Google Calendar, and everything is in that joint color coded, because without it, if it ain't on the calendar, it ain't happening. I use calendar. I also use my Google or my Apple Notes reminders, and I have those things synced up. I use everything. Why? Because I want to make sure that I have space to live my amazing, confident life. And I want to make sure that everything fits where it fits and that I have time to do it. And if I don't put it on the space and the calendar and the reminders, it ain't happening. So, number one, I need you to make a list of all the ways you spend your time. And then I guarantee you, it all fits into one of these 5 themes. So, the reason why I want to influence you to help reframe your thought process when it comes to balance and percentages is because just because our life is diversified in these 5 areas does not mean they all get an equal amount of time. So you probably thought when I said work, rest, fun, exercise, serve, and you looked at it, you were like, I don't rest, exercise, fun. A lot of us are spending majority of our time just on work related things, whether that may be actual, again, working at a job, or it's working to keep the house clean, or it's working to whatever that may be. Majority of folks' life, all of their bucket and time goes into work. So what does that produce? An imbalanced life. Why? Because all your time is going to work. That's where I want this to change. You can't live your confident life if majority of your time and energy is spent just on work. That ain't fun. No pun intended when it comes to having fun. So when you look at it through this lens, and when I say I want to reframe how you see balance and percentages, I first have to go back and start with balance. When I think about balance, I don't think about 50-50. That to me is equal, but it's not necessarily balanced. When I think about balance when it comes to life, it's my ability to be present where I'm at for however long I'm there. Don't matter what it is. If I'm with my fiance, if I'm with my kid, if I'm teaching, if I'm driving, if I'm working out, whatever it is, it's my ability to be present in the moment for however long I have there. So we do this thing with our family. Today's Friday, so we'll have family flashback Fridays, and we have some other things that we do, family 15s, where it's just 15 minutes. You may be like, 15 minutes, but 15 minutes over a long period of time, consistently, that joint adds up. So what I'm thinking about, what I'm talking about, is compound interest in time. Now, pause with me, or bear with me, should I say. So when I go back to balance, what I'm saying is balance to me is being able to be present in the moment for however long that time is, and then being consistent with it. It doesn't mean that it's equal amounts. If I have only 24 hours in a day, it's 8. Like that's not one, it's not really, it don't really make sense. Sure, mathematically, but not realistically when it comes to life. And so again, balance is being able to be present for that time, because when you're present, that gives you an exponential experience out of it because your whole body is there. So now let's reframe how we see percentages. When it comes to percentages, think about it like this. If you were to, or somebody who right now it's basketball season, it's March Madness at the time of this recording. If a player shoots 60% from the three, hot. They're it. Do not let them touch the ball. 60% from the three, that means 6 out of 10 shots, they're draining. If that same player shoots 60% from the free throw line, foul them. So do we see how when you take percentages, depending on the context, that influences how much respect we have for that thing. So again, one player shoots 60% from the three, 60% from the field. You're like, they're a threat, 100% a threat. But if they shoot 60% from the free throw line, they're not a threat. That might be the person you want to foul, because they're more times than not probably going to miss, because that 60 is too close to 50 based off of that type of shot versus a 3-point shot. Now, let's say you take 60%. This person shoots 60% from the three, but they have a 60% in their math class. Same 60%, same number, same percentage. But if you have a 60% in the classroom, what does that mean? That means you're failing. So the way and the reason why I want you to reframe how you see percentages is because depending on the context, that same number can mean something completely different. So we have to start to look at how we balance and diversify our life in the percentages that we apply, and put some more respect on it depending on the context. So I'm going to give you a challenge, and I just want you to sit with it. You deserve 1%. And when I say that you deserve 1%, you're probably like, I really deserve more. And you're absolutely right. You do deserve more than 1%. But if you're going to live your confident life, you have to make sure every single one of these areas in the Your Confident Life framework gets at least 1% of your time. Now, that looks different for every single person. Why does that look different for every person? Because everybody has a different type of life. And so if we know that there's work, rest, fun, exercise, serve, what does it mean to give 1% to these different areas? I'll tell you. Let me do this. I'm going to do this breakdown for you. When you look at time in the form of percentages, I believe this is the best way for us to figure out how do we allocate our time and our energy, especially across these different dynamics. So 1 hour in a day, 60 minutes, is 4% of your day. 1 hour is 4% of your day. So if you were to work out for an hour, that takes up 4% of your day. Solid. Now think about it like this. 30 minutes is 2% of your day. I'm going to go even further. 15 minutes is 1% of your day. You deserve 1% of your day. That's 100% focused on you. Your 1% should be the most selfish, constructively selfish time that you have. And I want to say this again because I want to make sure you hear me. 15 minutes is 1% of your day. You deserve to have 1% of your time out of 100% of the day. You deserve 1%. You, by yourself, for yourself, pouring into yourself, investing in you. And when I put it at 1%, and you knowing that 1% is only 15 minutes, I hope that reframes the way that you see everything. Because if you aren't consistent with taking your time, if you aren't consistent with pouring into you and investing into you, you're only going to deplete. So I want you to think of this 1% framework similar to investing when there's dollar cost average. It's being able to invest the same amount of money every single month, and you're going to reap the benefits because you're being consistent with it. It's going to compound over time. So even though 15 minutes or 1% may not seem like a lot, if you're doing nothing right now, that 15 minutes, it's going to feel like, oh, shoot, that was bomb. Your body's going to love it. You're going to want more of it. But it's easy to feel that was a bar that I couldn't get past. Your body's going to love it. You're going to want more of it. But it's going to feel, initially, you're going to feel like, what? And that's the feeling that I want you to be able to wrestle with. I'll go even deeper. If you're like, man, Dr. Reese, I can't find 15 minutes, then here's my challenge to you. 0.35%. 0.35%. I believe that you deserve 1%, but if you feel like you can't get 0.35%, or I believe that you deserve 1%, but if you don't feel like you can get 1%, then I need you to strive to get 0.35%. That's 5 minutes. And I understand that every single season of life is completely different for every person. But if you are going to be your most confident self, if you are going to live your confident life, if you are going to live out your purpose, if you are going to be the best person you could be for yourself and others, then you have to give yourself a minimum 0.35%. And that's 5 minutes of just time for you to sit and think and invest in you and think about what you're thinking about and breathe and journal. And you can do it all in 5 minutes. I promise you, I have tested it. And so regardless of the season of life that you're in, you can always get 5. That might be where I'm about to take the rest of the show. Regardless of the season of life, you can always get 5. So instead of going to the bathroom and sitting on the toilet for 5 minutes doing this, I know it because I've done it. Go to the bathroom, sit on the toilet, and just give your brain a break. The more breaks and timeouts that we take that have nothing to do with the screen or being inundated allows our nervous system to chill and to reset. And if we take and we get a glass of water, we're doing what's best for us. And I'm so mad at the way the world is shaped right now that makes us feel as though doing what's best for us is not good for us. Like, it's weird. It's like there's a force that makes you feel, I was telling my fiance this last night or this morning, that there's some type of energy that's circulating that makes us feel like if you do what's best for you, you're doing what's wrong in the grand scheme or for everybody else. I don't believe purpose should have you burnt out. Living in your purpose isn't just doing the activation of your purpose. Living your purpose is actually just existing because you had a purpose before you had a project. You had a purpose before you had to go out and do something and execute something. Your purpose is not just something that's connected to people and profit, or it's not just connected to profit, it's also connected to people, and you are one of those people. And you have to take care of home, your body, your heart, your mind, your soul, your spirit, every single thing that has to do with you. And so to bring it full circle, when I'm talking about living your confident life in these 5 areas, You have to be able to diversify your time in a way that allows you to allocate your energy to these 5 areas. I say that again. You deserve to live your confident life. And in that, that means diversifying your time across these 5 areas to allocate your energy. And you're doing it based off of certain percentages. So the 5 areas is work, rest, fun, exercise, serve. That's the 5 ways we're going to diversify our time. And then we're going to allocate our energy, and we're going to figure out what percentage do I have to add to these spaces. Serving may be, serving looks completely different. That may just mean picking up trash in your local neighborhood. That may mean going out and serving food. That may mean, who knows, like, there's no cap to put on it. You get to be creative in what you want that to look like. But let's talk about exercise. This is when you don't move it, you lose it. And I'm not telling you to lift every day. I'm just asking you to move. That's it. Just find a way to move. And there's plenty of content out there. There's plenty of different people who can show you different ways to move. But we gotta take advantage of our ability to move. And if somebody says, "Oh, I don't have time," you have at least 1% that you can dedicate. What is 1%? It's 15 minutes. Is it walking? That's easy for you. You have a gym. Yep, sure do. But that it don't make it any easier. Yes, there's less barriers, but before I had this, there was always, and again, I get it. I was an athlete, makes sense. But still, you have a body, and we only have one body. And if our body feels a certain way, that's going to impact us mentally, which then impacts us emotionally, which impacts us spiritually. So we have to make sure we're taking care of our core 4, and physically is that piece. And if 15 minutes, if you get up, you have the ability to walk, you walk. And I know sometimes it may be cold outside. So if it's dedicating $15 to a Planet Fitness membership, then make that happen. If it's getting in your living room and doing some squats and doing a HIIT workout, the better we are physically, the better we are mentally and emotionally, which allows us to live out our confidence on a whole nother level. And it only takes 15 minutes. What percent is that? 1. Now let's talk about fun. Fun is so necessary. Oh, it's so necessary, Jay-Z voice. Fun is necessary because that's a part of our well-being. It's a part of, like, when I say purpose shouldn't make us feel burnt out, this is a part of it where you just get to where you just get to get replenished by doing a hobby, something that brings you joy. This is where I talk about not for profit passions. When you have not for profit passions, that provides you an extra layer of free joy. Maybe not free, depending on what it is. I know one of mine is travel, and that joint is not free. But you have not for profit passions, it gives you the ability to have fun and get that psychological well-being of excitement and dopamines and endorphins that has nothing to do with a particular project-based outcome. And that's important because it helps us have a well-balanced, well-rounded life. And that's the point. And this is something I'm continuing to think about is I'm not going to hold you. It's figuring out what is fun for me. My fiance and son are gamers. They love getting on the game. That's fun for them. In some of the games they play, I have no idea what's going on. But I played the other day. I had some fun. So it's necessary. Have fun. But it's not necessarily like my go-to fun. And so I'm in a season of figuring out what is fun for me. That's not traveling. And that's not, and I'm telling you this because it matters. And I'm telling you this because I too struggle with this, but it's necessary. And I know how important it is. And I do know what some areas of fun are. And we don't want to lose out on that. And so I'm challenging you to figure out, okay, what is fun? What is good, healthy fun? What are some not-for-profit passions that I have that I can dedicate maybe just 1% a week, 1% a month, because this is going to help us prevent burnout when we are holistically pouring into our life. Rest. When we talk about rest, there are multiple different types of rest that is out there. There is screen rest, there's emotional rest, there's actual like sleeping rest, giving your brain a break. There's multiple different types of rest that we need. And because there's so many different types of rest, I'm going to do a whole nother separate episode on rest because I think it's important, but we need it. Again, we are not I was just about to say we're not machines, but even machines need rest. So I don't know what we think we are. I don't know. Like even my computers need to go to sleep and phones need to be shut down and powered back up. Like we are beings that need to have a full holistic life experience, which is why the Your Confident Life framework is broken into these 5 different areas, and which is why it's important for us to be able to identify what percentage can we throw in that, because when we allocate a certain percentage to all 5 of these areas, it increases our holistic well-being, it increases our performance, it increases our ability to be able to have emotional regulation, to make better decisions, and to just feel better overall. So that's my encouragement to you, is that when people say that, I get it a lot all the time, how do you do it all? Or you make it look so easy. It's because I'm very intentional with making sure that my life is divided in these 5 areas and that every single area is getting a percentage in some way, shape, or form. And the minimum is going to be 0.35%. That may be on a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly basis, whatever it is. I know exactly where, when, why, how. And when I look at my calendar throughout the week, there are going to be pockets of different things. Now, does it always like that? No, there's some times where there's not, where my fun might be off, where my rest might be off because work is taking a little bit more of that. But when it all shakes out, and I could feel it in my body too, like, oh shoot, I need to have some fun. Okay, ooh, cool. It feels good to be able to get some more rest. Ooh, okay, cool. And it's just, that's it. It's the ebb and flow of life and your ability to say, okay, in this season, this is what it looks like, but I'm going to make sure I hold on to that at least 0.35%. And when you shape it that way, you're like, I absolutely deserve 0.35% of my own time. Not in sleep, not in work, but in some form of rest, some form of fun, some form of exercise. You 100% deserve that. So here's what I want you to do, is I want you to do a confident life audit. Look at your life, make a full list of all the things that you do on a weekly basis. Look at your calendar and see how is your time divided. And then I want you to theme them up into work, rest, fun, exercise, serve. And it's not that they're supposed to be equal, right? So if you were to take 100%, you divide it by 5, they're not going to all be at 20. They're all going to be right at different levels, but that doesn't mean balance. Balance is at least every area getting a percentage. Is it getting 1%? Is it getting 15 minutes? And if it is, great, because some seasons of life will allow you to be able to have those numbers flex and switch. And work may be down in a season because your capacity and capital grew in one area, and fun may be up because it's a different season, and it's going to ebb and flow. But you'll have a handle on it. You'll know what you're doing. You'll know why you're doing. You know where you want to shift and put your energy because you're more aware holistically about the entire picture. And so living your confident life requires you to diversify your life in these 5 areas and to be intentional about allocating your energy and time based off the thought process of percentages and not necessarily through hours and minutes and getting hung up on, oh, well, if it's not this, then it's not good enough. Because we feel like, well, if I'm not gonna work out for 3 hours, and I'm guilty of this, if I'm not gonna work out for 3 hours, then what's the point? So we just don't do it. Well, if I'm not going to be able to have fun in this way, or if I'm not going to be able, no, retrain your brain, get out of that, give you what you need, get what you can get, Every season of life is different, but the same way with dollar cost average, the consistency of being able to invest in you is going to compound over time, and seasons will change and you'll be able to have more in another season, maybe less in another, but you're always going to have what you need to have a well balanced, holistic life, holistically confident life. And that's the point. So I hope that this was beneficial to you. I hope that this served you. Make sure that you share this to somebody else who might need this thought process and a reframe of how we see balance, how we see percentages, how we see our time and energy, and how we're able to diversify our life to have a well-balanced life across the board. So that way you can live your confident life. So I appreciate you. I love you. Talk to me in the comments and let me know if there's anything in here that really stuck out, something you want to talk more about, and apply this, live it, take action. Remember that you are the bag. I love you. Till next time. Peace.